Now, as good as our country life was, Gog and the Age wanted us to realize there was more over the horizon and outside our wonderful little world. They helped ensure this, for instance, by frequently taking some of us grandchildren to events such as the Audubon Society meetings in Houston, to the Shrine Circus every year, to the Houston Zoo with a stop for a brief lesson at the statue of Sam Houston, a brief Texas history lesson, that is. And they were involved in seeing that we were given the opportunity to dress up and attend the Houston Symphony. Education through exposure. I think this was important to Gog and the Age because they knew it was best, when possible, to make informed choices and decisions in life. In the 1920s, they traveled and exposed their 4 children to such places as Pikes Peak, Carlsbad Caverns, the Painted Desert, the Petrified Forest, Yellowstone, and to a favorite, the historic and colorful town of Santa Fe. And this was almost 100 years ago. I was not surprised when I learned on one of these trips, E.H. pulled the car over, stopped, got out, walked to the fence, and pointed to the cattle in the pasture and announced, "Now that's a Hereford." I guess those trips could be called field trips. Now fast forward from the 1920s to the late 1940s, when they began the grandchildren's trips by taking we 3 older ones to San Antonio and providing a Texas history lesson regarding the Alamo. The last of those trips was in 1958 when they took 2 of the youngest to experience Yellowstone National Park and to float and swim in the Great Salt Lake. I marvel at their deep, caring love and their desire to share life with us, their determination, patience, and endurance with us. And then thinking about the 1920s, those vehicles they drove on their trips, the road conditions, the near absence of motels, restaurants, certainly no convenience stores, and no fast food drive-thrus. As grandchildren, we knew Gog and E.H. were both avid readers at home and while traveling. Her choices were quite varied, with selections from the classics to modern novels to magazines and papers on home improvement, etc. She always wanted to keep informed. E.H.'s choices were mostly limited to westerns or biographies of people he'd heard about and or met. We grandchildren each have our areas of particular talents and interests, but we do still enjoy and learn from reading the written page, be it from hard copy or from our iPads. Something that Gaga did for my brother and I to help us increase our vocabularies, she made up the nickel word game. For instance, she told us about the aurora borealis she'd frequently seen in Minnesota as a child. And in the next coming weeks and months, she'd ask, "What's another term for the northern lights?" If we got it right, we got a nickel. The cattle industry has seen and undergone many changes. The same is true for our family. However, our heritage, through Gaga's and E.H.'s love and appreciation of our country, of family, of community, of the land, and of ranch life itself, truly continues in both tangible and intangible ways. They gifted their daughter, my wonderful mother, a portion of the original LH7 property in Barker. Later, she gifted part of that to me. I'm thankful and proud, in a sense, to say that not only ownership, but also the enjoyment of farm and ranch land and life, the life it brings to my children, who are Maud and Amos's great-grandchildren, most definitely comes partly and directly through that gifting. I understand that one way my Gaga brightened the lives of their hard-working cowhands was by making sure they had good reading materials. And there's a letter from one of them expressing his appreciation for such. I've also been told she took it upon herself to drive to Houston's Harris County Library, acquire books, bring them back for her family and Barker neighbors to check out on the honor system. Little did I realize as I grew up that evidently was a forerunner of our Harris County bookmobile that parked at the intersection of our Barker Claudine Road and U.S. Highway 90, which is now I-10. I hope that sharing with you through my eyes, you do understand that in my opinion, my Gaga, Maud Smith Marks, cherished and felt a great responsibility to her family and to those around her. I believe that for her, this wonderful Maud Smith Marks Branch Library fits right in there with family and friends and neighbors. Therefore, I sincerely thank you, in my Gaga's name, for your efforts in contributing to and providing for opportunities in her community. Blessings.